fabulous people. You are here today with your girl, Soraya Parker Pill, at my podcast, Soraya. Okay? So we're here with two, not one, but two star guests. The first star guest will be Alonda Ross, and she is hot and she comes in with no hold bars and she does it and she do it with fire. And then I have my girl, oh my gosh, Free Little. Yes, both of these ladies are all around the world, international, doing their thing. And I'm just so blessed to have them here with me. Yes, turning the page with Soraya. Okay, I would love to say any, meeny, miny, mo. Who? I'm sorry. I'm just silly if you know me very by now. I have Free Little. She's right beside me, and I would love for you all to get to know her like I have gotten to know her in such a very short period of time. This podcast today is a part two of springing into new relationships. That's something that me and Free Little have, and that's something that me and Londa have. And I would love for them to get on, tell a little bit about themselves, then also tell us about their brand and what it have to offer. If it can't offer something to you, maybe it can offer to someone you know. So Free Little, give us some nuggets, baby.
Well, hello everyone, and I am so honored to be here on Turning the Pages, such an inspiring show. And Alonda, hello, my dear sister. Wow, I'll say that Simply Free Little Talk Show is a virtual talk show. It also is an international radio talk show on Envision Broadcasting. And I also am featured as one of the writers in Envision Broadcasting magazine that we've launched this year. And I'm very excited to be a part of being a writer in the magazine, as well as one of the show hosts on the actual international radio station, Envision Broadcasting. And Simply Free Little Talk Virtual can be found on Facebook as well as YouTube. Yes. Oh, and what it is, let me tell you what it is. It is a platform that was created, inspired by God, created for individuals to come on, from authors, doctors, politicians, actors, singers, writers, photographers, videographers, entrepreneurs, the whole gamut of array of skills, gifts, talents, and abilities can come on to tell their story about their journey.
That is awesome. I love it. I love when people have a mouthful to tell us. Yes, and you're going to only get it here. Now we're going to go to the next star, Alonda Ross. She is also internationally known. And can you please tell us about your brand and what your brand have to offer us?
Hey, Queen. Good evening, everybody. Salutations and greetings. Listen, I am known as I'm Alonda Ross Brooks. I am affectionately known as the Becoming Coach. I'm all things becoming. I host a show called I Am Becoming every week. They call me the Sunday Afternoon Motivator. I am the co-founder of Women CEOs Rocks. I am the founder of I Am Becoming Publishing, which we take you international and help you become an international best-selling author. And I am the CEO and founder of I Must Become Enterprises. And I am also a cosmetologist of 23 years. So I own the Like Sunday Salon and Spa as well. And I am three beautiful, perfect people's mom as well. So that's a little bit about me. But thank you so much. I'm honored to be here this evening. And just happy to be a vessel that God is flowing through.
That is amazing. Amazing.
Yes.
And if you don't know me, I am up like I'm joking. Well, this is only the way you're going to get laughs, you're going to get the
Come
smiles,
on.
you're going to get the
Exactly.
crowds, you're going to get the cries, you're going to get whatever you need here. It might not be when you want it, but it will be right on time. So you have to subscribe. You have to subscribe so you can always be able to be a blessing to others. So, what we're going to talk about today is bringing into new relationships. Maybe we can talk a little bit about how our relationship was sprung into between me and Free Little as well as Alonda. And then we can also let y'all know how we found out that it was not just a relationship, but it was a God-given relationship. And it was from God that we were able to meet with each other. And we're hit on some notes about what we're going to take and what we're not going to take when it comes to relationships. How we have find out if people are reasons or seasons at the time we had them. So who would like to start? Free Little. I mean, we already started with you before. So what do you say about this part two on springing into new relationships and how we know if it's God giving?
Well, first you ask the creator, what is the purpose of this individual in my life? As I did with Alonda, I met her through a mutual friend who we both are very fond of, Mr. Kendall Richardson, and he spoke so highly of her. And I don't know what he said in regards to me to her, but we connected and I enjoyed her interview. And I just felt the connection. I felt the sincerity from her. And of course, you want to say, God, is this someone that I need to connect with? And so I continued following her, continued supporting her in her endeavors as much as I was available to. And I just opened that door of, hey, stay in there, keep chin up, smile a day, just giving her words of encouragement as I was led to do. And so when I had my 1 year anniversary show, and I was thinking of so many people that could have come on the show, but she was one I selected because I feel that close bond. I see her success as a blessing to so many, and that kind of touched my heart. And so that's why we remained connected. And I know she's a divine connection.
That is awesome. I love it.
Yes.
I feel all of it in my soul. Alonda, so if you don't mind telling us, how did you feel about the new relationship that was sprung upon you when you met Free Little?
So she was the Free Little I didn't know that I needed in my life, obviously. And so I would say the person who connected us, Kendall, big bro, we actually met through a different business transaction, and God just continued to grow that relationship organically. And so I knew that when I tried his spirit by the spirit, that he was approved. So anybody that he brought through that channel, I knew he spoke highly of her. And it was just an instant. You just know when you constantly pray and stay before God, God keep me lifted, keep me protected. Also, you pray about your countenance and how you want to show up in people's life. And one thing that remains and I'm grateful. People always say I bring peace because I have decided to live in peace and be peace. You know what I'm saying? And so when you maintain that posture before God, you attract that. You do attract the wounded, but you also know, because when you stay on your post, you know your head is on a swivel, and so is your spirit. So, you always know. And I always tell God, like, Lord, keep my eyes open to the assignment. Don't let me pour too much and don't let me pour too little. You know what I'm saying? When you always pray about you being in the right posture for the assignment, you can't go wrong. And so it's about how you continue. It's just like your posture of your spirit. It's just like you exercise your body. Just how you every day you think about what you're going to eat for the day. You plan out, you map out. You have to constantly exercise your spirit and your posture. It's a muscle, and it needs constant daily work, minute by minute. That's why God tells us to pray without ceasing. He's like, listen, you got to stay in position. You got to stay on your post. And when you know that your purpose is to be a conduit and to be a change agent, you know that you don't have the seizure that other people can have to not be on assignment, right? We know that we can't be naive. We know that we have to stay in a posture they say stay ready so you don't have to get ready, right? So you have to be ready in season and out of season. You have to intercept and be on your post. You know what I'm saying? So I take that very seriously because I always want to make sure that when a person is coming to me, I want to make sure that I am what they need in that season and not so much about what I am going to get from the situation. I want to make sure that I'm in the right posture to give them what they need.
That is awesome. That is awesome. It's amazing because the fact that you came into my life, at the time you came into my life, I knew that it was going to happen, but I didn't know when. And I love the fact that you say you need to stay in peace, but not in pieces. You need to live in peace, but not be broken up into pieces. And it's very important that our listeners understand that, because some people are fighting for victory when they should be fighting in victory. The fact that God loves to actually heal and bring joy to ones that are fighting in victory, even when they don't know how the outcome is going to come or how the outcome is going to be at the time that they're fighting. He loves a cheerful, giving giver, and it's very important. So Free Little, as y'all both said, how y'all relationship was. And y'all very transparent, and I love that about you all. I always had issues being friends with females. That was one of my issues that I had to work on, and God definitely, definitely I overcame all of that. But I just didn't know how to be a friend with females, and now God is not just bringing strong women into my life to show me that they can just be more than a friend. They can be a sister, they can be a confidant, they can be a counselor, they can be so many things as you need them. But I didn't know how to be a woman to myself. So I couldn't be a friend to anyone else because I didn't even know how to respect myself. And the fact that we met when we met was just amazing. I met Alonda on mistake. You know, a girlfriend of mine, her name is Carolyn. We go to church together, and she edited my first book, and she said, Soraya, you really want to be number one seller, and you're working so hard to do this and that. You need to hook up with her. Little did I know, just hooking up with her was going to have me in a number one bestseller internationally in 6 categories on the second book I actually published. That was amazing stuff. I knew God was going to do it, but didn't know when he was going to do it. And then when it came to Free Little, we was actually on your show a couple of weeks ago as we was doing the book. I believe the book was just coming out. I'm forgetting what the show was about. We did a couple shows, but I met you through that. And it was amazing that when we got off the phone during the show, I was on the phone with you personally for over an hour. Personally. And I just knew it was God. I knew it was God because, a lot of times when I'm moving, I'm not moving because I want to move. It's because God is saying, okay, this is your assignment. You need to do it. It's not about me anymore. I gave my life over to him for the very last time when I demanded him to show me the love of him. I said, God, I demand you to show me what you're about. So, and he did that. He did just that. So I promised him, because he promised me to make sure that I'm always good no matter what. It might not be when I want it. So I don't want too much from God anymore. I already know what he promised me. So he has to do what he said he's going to do. But I also must do what I say I'm going to do. And that's working for him at all times. At all times. So the relationship that we're having with each other, I feel like is God. And a lot of times people could be wrong, but my God is never wrong. He's nothing wrong. So what I wanted to do is to hit some key points on what is important after you talk to God about the relationship that you have upon you right then and there and everything like that. What do you think is important for these listeners or these hearers to know about these relationships? Alonda?
I think it's important to be open, because you never know what the assignment of what that person is supposed to be to you and what your assignment is to them until you're in it, right? And so I think that if you maintain an open mind, because sometimes people get leery of having relationships with other people, especially spiritual relationships, because they always like expect relationships to kind of come in and be this soft, cushy experience. And sometimes people come to course correct. And that's necessary too. That is needful as well. Because people feel like, oh, well, if you don't come with this certain posture, right, that it can't be God. And that's so wrong, because God loves us and he corrects us in love, right? And so he sends people sometimes to tell us harsh truths about ourselves that we are not yet we're not yet aware of. And so, and by all means, let me put this disclaimer out there too. That does not mean that you blaspheme God and be going at nobody gangster. That does not mean that. But some people's authority in God is very, very powerful, right? And so oftentimes when you're still new in Christ, people can be like, oh, I got hurt, or like, you need to know that sometimes the relationship is not going to be that cuddly soft relationship. Sometimes it's going to be sandpaper. Sometimes it's going to come like a hammer. Sometimes it's going to come with some nails. You know what I'm saying? Because God is like, you asked me for something, right? And we want the ask, right? And we want the end result, but we don't focus enough on the journey. I went to a leadership conference a couple weeks ago, and he was like, we get so mad at the suddenly, but we don't pay attention enough to the gradual. And so the gradual is the journey, right? And we like, oh God, make me an international best-selling author, right? But the thing is, people don't know the back part of the process. They like, I just want the accolades. I want the title. But to whom much is given, much is required. And the thing is, you've never seen nobody just wake up with a 6-pack of abs. You've never seen nobody just roll out of bed and be like, I've mastered my diet, or I've mastered this. Like, nobody just woke up and they was a doctor. That was their destiny. That was their purpose. But that journey, they don't go to school for 8 long years and then go through 4 to 6 more years of training, sometimes 8, depending upon their specialty. You have to be able to ride that journey for your purpose. And I tell people all the time, like, I'm 39 years old. People are like, they ask me questions in coaching all the time, like, well, how do you do this? Because they've decided that because what they see, they're like, oh, you're an expert, or oh, you've mastered this. I will be the first to let you know there's some things that I haven't mastered. I'm still yet perfecting. And yes, I may be doing this better than some people, but I have still not reached my level of actuality in that. And I remain humble. And how I achieve that is because I am okay with not being the smartest person in the room. I am okay with being an unfinished product and making sure that I get around the people that I need to get around to get that sandpaper, because I want to be that smooth, polished thing. And I'm okay with being roughed up by that sandpaper. I'm okay with, hearing that harsh criticism, like, hey, sis, you didn't master it. You don't have this well. You need to do this X, Y, Z. And I'm like, okay, cool. Because you are where I'm trying to be at. So I have to be willing to sit underneath that tutelage to get the things that I want. And so that is important. You got to come with an open mind and an open spirit to be able to be refined and to be refinished. You know what I'm saying? To turn out to this great thing that you want to be.
I love that. I love the fact that you're not just transparent, but you're real. And I feel like, with the relationship that I have with God, because my God is really gangster. He's my dog. Sometimes he's very, soft spoken, and he's like, Soraya, be okay. But sometimes, like, girl, if you don't get your butt up and shut up and do what you're going to do, because you already know who you are, and you already promised me you're going to do some things. So just stop whining. Stop trying to give yourself a pity party, ticket to nowhere. So I just love the fact that you're transparent. And when I said that it was really hard for me to even trust females or to be friends with them, he at least put the friends that he do have in my life real. Free Little, you're real. Alonda, you are real. Y'all not going to sit here and polish anything. Of course, you might be considerate, this, that, whatever. But a lot of times people don't need consideration. They need the realness. So what do you say about it? I know, me and you was talking a little bit earlier, Free Little, about, even being able to get in contact with a friend of yours from back in the day. From back in the day. And here we talking about friendship. What do you say is important to having a friendship, what not to accept in a friendship, and maybe a little bit about, what happened to you today and this conversation and being connected to this person from a long time ago?
Mm-hmm. Well, actually, the conversation was last night. I called her. She'd been in my spirit, and I called her. And of course, she does not reside in Texas any longer. She's in California, have been there for over 30 years. But from preschool to present day, we're still friends, and we are celebrating 55 years of life. I will be turning 55 this June 21st. And this has been my friend for that long of a time period, but she's so bold to be honest, to be transparent, to keep it real with me, as you would say. She has no time for foolishness. And that's the type of friendship. If I was looking for friendship, that's what I desire. But in this season of my life, as I stated with you earlier, I don't want a friendship. I want a divine connection. Now, those that are my friends for years, as I mentioned my friend earlier, I want to continue those relationships naturally, because those are divine relationships. Those are covenant relationships that I have maintained for so many X amount of years. But then there's these rich cultivated relationships like Alonda, that is less than right at a year, maybe we've been connected, and then yourself and I within weeks. But here's the deal. It's not the length of time, it's the capacity of what the friendship or the connection warrants for both of us. It's a mutual thing. We both are on, the word of God is clear on this, and this is the simplicity of the word. It says, how can two walk together unless they agree? That's why I want divine connections, because I will walk with someone who's walking in the same direction that I am. We're not doing the same things, but we're in the same goal mindset, that I want to respect my friend. I want to honor the relationship. And I'm not here to just take. So I prayed. I'm going to just tell y'all if there's a remedy or a formula to this thing. I prayed. I said, God, I don't want anybody that it's all me giving. It's all me doing. It's all of me calling to be that friend. I don't want friends who just only call me when they need something. I don't want friends who just want me to show up for them, but I can't expect them to show up for me. I didn't need that, because then that is unhealthy, because now it's an unbalance. So now divine connections that God has blessed me to surround me with people that are going to be boldly direct and in love correct me, in love present things to help me grow, because they love me enough to care about me like that. They love me enough to ask me questions before falsely accusing me or assuming because someone else said or someone presented something. That's when maturity, spiritual maturity, and just maturity sets in, where you question those things and you resolve those matters. Going back to the word of God again, it says, if you have aught with your brother, what are we supposed to do? Go to them, because only between you and that person can you rectify the situation. But more importantly, you want to clear the air. You don't want to have an elephant sitting in the room and everybody's trying to act like we're okay with each other because we're Christians, we're believers, we're sisters in the faith, and that's the problem. I greet you with a kiss, and I hug you, but then I'm like, why she hugged me? We're too old for that foolishness. I can't believe she spoke to me. Or grown women rolling their eyes at other grown ladies. Something's wrong with that. Or intentionally overlooking another. That is not supposed to be. Not if you say your goal is to be better. I heard you say that, right?
Yeah.
So how can God honor your prayers and your time in worship with him if you are allowing cattiness, immaturity? And I love what Alonda said. I'll capitalize on this. She said, spending time with God is going to give you that. You try the spirit by the spirit. So there is no one's going to be attached to Alonda that's going to be all that foolishness that I gave examples of. And neither with myself, because I asked specifically with details of the type of the caliber of individuals I wanted in my surroundings. Why? Not because I thought I'm better, but I wanted to become better. And what you have around you, you become that.
Yes, indeed. And I love the fact that we are all becoming better. The fact that we're not just taking what God had put in place for us to come together as connectors and being able to help others, love others, show others the way because they might just not know, you know. So I usually don't have a long podcast, but I just think it's so important to get on here and be able to transparently be able to let people know it's not going to be easy to have real friends.
Yeah.
And you might not know if it's a season or a reason for them,
Yes.
but the connection with God will show you the way every
Every
single
time.
time. So it's always going to be a reason, but we just don't know how long the season is going to be.
Wow.
We just don't know. But
Mhm.
it's amazing because I know God has such great things for us. And I call myself the connect of all nations, and I say that, with a great smile because I've been connected with a lot of people, even though my past could never foreseen where I'm at today. It could never foreseen what I was at today. But God knew. Only He knew. Only He knew what He was doing. And I'm so grateful. And the fact that I'm grateful and I give with my heart and never with my hand, He always seems to put me in position to be able to connect someone to someone else and to have that love shared all around. Because there's a chain reaction that, if I can't help you, but the person you might know, I might can help. You know,
It's
we
true.
have to open our mouth and we have to share the love we have. Agape love.
Yes.
Agape. We have to love. So one thing I do want to hit on is I would love Free Little to, let you all know how you can reach out to her. The things that she have to offer you all, please reach out. If it's not for you, it might be for the person that's going through. And same thing with Alonda. Reach out to her. I want her to be able to tell you all about the book that just hit number one seller with
Mhm.
Amazon and everything. Give them all the information because they need to read that book. And then don't forget, get my first book, the stories of a lost soul that found her way. Ah, she got the book. It's only 67 pages, I believe. It's very short book, but it's really, really
Mhm.
letting you know that if I did it, I'm telling you, you can do it too. And Alonda, she has a lot going on with her books. She have more than one. I'm working on my fourth one, and I mean, I'm just so excited. I can't wait to get with her and see if she can help me. No, not see if she can.
She.
Whenever she have time to be able to help me with this fourth book, because I know everything she touched is going to turn into diamonds, and the same thing with Free Little. Like, we're here to help you all.
Mhm.
Please know this is not all about laughs. It's not all about just giving you a show. It's about helping.
Yes.
Call on your friend if you have one. It's nothing wrong with having therapy. It's nothing wrong with having a counselor, a shrink, none of those things, because I needed it all. Believe me, I needed it all. Church was just not enough for me. But I just thank you all for listening. Free Little, you want to, end it out with whatever you have to say. Give them some keynotes, maybe even let them know how to reach out to you in whatever way is possible.
Okay. I just like to reiterate that if you are in search of real connections, divine connections, I love that the title of the show for this particular part is Springing into New Relationships. And in your pursuit of what you desire to have in your presence, in your circle, you have to ask God for that. You have to ask, be specific down to, I don't want anybody that's catty. I want someone who's focused and who is driven to do better in life because that person will inspire me. That person will drive me. That was for me. So whatever it is that is your trigger points or your that starts your engine up, You need to ask God for that, and He will surround you with it. Trust me. And it will happen, as Alonda said, it will be organic. You don't have to go out and, hey, would you be my friend, Alonda? Hey, would you be my friend? Sarai, you don't have to do that. It will happen, and He will fall away those that are not in that specific request that you asked Him for, because He will grant you. He will grant you your desires of your heart. And if He knows that it's from a pure place, that you just want love, peace, and joy surrounding you. And I wanted people that cared about the gifts that I bring, and they accept, and they also bring gifts and I accept. So those were my Pacifics. So my encouraging words is just be Pacific of what you want in your surroundings.
Yes. And how can we get in contact with you? I already
Sure.
know. I got first place phone number.
Yes, she has phone
Yes.
numbers. I love it. She has
How
an
can they
explanation.
get in contact with you until
Absolutely.
we know they can be in first place?
All right now, simply free little talk at gmail.com. So it's just like the show's name, Simply Free Little Talk, without the show in the email at gmail.com. That's one way to connect me. And you can always request, I want to be someone on your guest on your show. I love that. Send me your bio, send me a picture of yourself. I want to read about who you are, so I'll know if where I can place you in on the show's calendar, because I really do want you to tell your story. That's what Simply Free Little Talk is all about. It's about you sharing your journey. What are you doing so we can celebrate you? I celebrate Alonda because she came on my show, and everything she said she's about that. And so
That's
that's why I
right.
will always stay connected with her. Wonderful
I have
spirit.
to call you next week to get on your calendar. I'll make
Okay,
sure I do
come
that.
on, come on. Look, now, see, did y'all hear what I just said? Email, right? What did she say? I'm gonna call her. I love it. Go ahead, pull your rank, sister. I love it.
My bad.
That was a good one. I like that. Now, see, that we're laughing about it, but that is one of the perks of a divine connection. When you have
Hmm.
a divine connection, you can pick up the phone, and also that helps me network other people, because I know what you have to offer. I know what Alonda has to offer, and so someone comes to me and they say, I have this situation or that. I just pick up the phone and I call.
Hmm. That's right. Alonda, hit us with some hot stuff.
So I also want to say this. This is very, 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 very vital. When you are springing into new relationships, just know this. Even when it's a divine connection, respect the category that God puts that person in. That doesn't mean just because it's coming by way of God that you have all access. Some rare connections are like that, where your favor is just different and you got a VIP access, but some are not. And so
Ah,
I say to say it's very important for you to respect the category, because that's how you keep yourself safe and protected. Because oftentimes, sometimes we try to push the envelope, right? And God's like, no, in this season, I just want this relationship to be this, right? And stay right there. Stay in that vein. Don't try to push it. Don't try to let it be your everyday hangout person. If it's just to come way by business, do business in this season. Because some relationships have to be a crock pot. You know what I'm saying? They gotta be slow
come
burn.
on.
And sometimes they are only gonna be just that, and sometimes they're gonna be for a season.
Yes.
So learn to respect the category. That keeps you safe. Okay, in a God connection. Oftentimes, when we get hurt, it's because we tried to push the category. Then we tried
Ah,
to God's divine assignment, and we trying to, maneuver our way to make it what we want it to be. But just respect the process.
yes.
And so
Awesome.
that's what I have to say. But also, you can reach me on all platforms under either the Becoming Coach, or you can go to imustbecome.com. That's my main website. You can also reach me on Facebook or Instagram under I Must Become the number one, not the word spelled out one, but the number one. Or you can catch my show every week at IamBecomingShow.com. We are on all major platforms. And so, and if you are a women's Who Rocks, or if you are aspiring to be a woman into business, our Women CEOs Rock platform, we aspire women spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, and financially into action. So you can go to womenceosrocks.com and join us. It's a safe Christian community. You do not have to be a Christian to be a part of it. We welcome everyone, but we are governed and under God. So you can also learn there too how to write on our next project. And I am becoming publishing.com is coming soon. So if you want to write with me, definitely go to I must become.com for now and get in contact with me. And if you are ready to leap into your becoming and become the total package, honey, that is where you find me, and I will grab your hand and help you take the leap.
Come on.
I love it. That's where I'm at already. I'm already
Yes.
I look, soon as I found out they had the second project coming, I was pushing that button like I ain't had no other buttons. I was like,
Right.
I gotta be a part of it. I gotta be a part of it. I'm telling you, she is amazing at what she does. And if she says she's going to be number one, believe you me, you're not going to just be number one, but you might be number one in a lot of different categories. And that's how you want it. You know, you want someone that can actually help you be who you want to be, but be that number one person at all times. So, did you talk about the book? Let them know to purchase the book that was just number one.
Diamonds and pearls.
In pre-sale right now. So you can go to Soraya Parker Peel, womenceosrock.com, and purchase the book from our lovely host. You have until the 22nd to pre-sale that to get an autographed copy and get free shipping. But we also, it's a 2-book project. So we have a book and we have an interactive journal that is filled with scriptures and affirmations to keep you encouraged. It's some things in the forefront of the book that help you get organized, help you get started. It's a really, really dope journal. It's something I put it together because I've been in business since I was 16 years old. And I was like, man, I wish somebody would have gave me a journal like this. How much further could I have been faster, right? Was someone thinking of these things? Like, we just to name a few things. When you first start a business, your mind is all over the place, right? When you jump into creativity, you jump into purpose. So it's just some things in there that keep you organized, remembering passwords, do how to do your taxes, just some things that you really, 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 really need when you are going into business, that really, really help you. These women, the book is called Diamonds and Pearls, Journey of a Womanpreneur Who Rocks. And when I tell you these women bare their souls, they told you everything that they encounter, which I think was so dope because this is our sophomore project. This is not my first book that I've done. Let me clarify that. This is our sophomore project that we did under Women CEOs Rocks. And so it was so dope because the first one was about mompreneurship. So, the moms was telling kind of like how they maneuver throughout the day and how, they started their businesses and why they were inspired into action. And then the women told about their journeys, what led them to their specific businesses. And I think it was so inspiring because I feel like oftentimes women are out there and they're like, or men even, I mean, it's written with women in mind, but it's not women specific. Like, man, you can purchase it for someone. It's super dope. But you think like only I am going through this, right? So you're like, I don't know if I can take the leap because I got all of these things going on, right? Let me tell you something. I am the one why I call myself the becoming coach and why I'm like leap into your becoming because when it's time to leap, nothing can stop you. When people listen in track and field, which I was just at track and field practice with my daughter. She's an AAU runner. We're leaping over hurdles in track and field. Life is a hurdle, right? And so you have to take that leap. And I get it. Sometimes we're like, I didn't see that growing up. I don't know what that looks like. So then you encounter different people. That's why springing into new relationships is so powerful because we are not just in this for ourselves, right? Our journey are not just for ourselves. Like, we are all intricate pieces in this puzzle, in this circle called life. So something that I may went through, you may be going through it. And something that Soraya went through, you might be like, I'm going through that. Or it could be your child or somebody close to you. So you like, listen, Lord, I've been out here praying and I'm trying to stand on it, but I don't know what this looks like. I don't know what it looks like or what I'm supposed to do, what the process is. So we wrote the process. We wrote the journey. And yours may be a little bit different. It may vary drastically, but just to give you faith that you are not in this alone. So definitely hit Soraya up, get the book. or you can go to womenceosrock.com, and it's CEOs with an S. But definitely support her because she is a co-author on the project, and her journey is awe-striking. Like, if you follow her on social media, then she shared some pictures the other day, and I was like, my God, when people tell you like sometimes still need a little bit more to get the visual, but yeah, like these women are survivors. You talking about people that have overcome and survived 9/11, divorces, to addicted spouses, people that are married, that have loving partners that lost themselves and had to find themselves in Christ and walk into their purpose. I mean, it's anything you can name it. One of the co-authors on the book, he literally took the worst moment in her life, and turned it into her. God turned it around and used it for her good, and birthed her purpose, man. And when I tell you, I call her my modern day Harriet. I'm telling y'all, bring your favorite blanket, get your snack, get a box of tissues, because it's gonna make you feel all the emotions, and when you are finished, you are going to be inspired. If God, what they say in church when they like, if the spirit ain't stir you off this song, baby, then you really need to call a therapist, honey, because you need something to shake you a little bit. But yeah, this book, I mean, and I wrote on it. I was a visionary, but I was so humbled by what God brought into the room, and just even in inspiring me. And I've been in business for over 23 years. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, listen, this is God. That was God. It really was God.
Yes, I always say only God. Only God. I'm telling you. So now we're coming to the very end, which I never want to go, but it's always another day. So I just want to say thank you to my sister so much for taking the time out to be on Little Old Big Me. That's growing her podcast. And I hope someone did hear something that they could get something from out of this. And it's very important to ask God what it is that I can get out of this relationship, what it is. What is the assignment? Let me just leave it as that. What is the assignment? All right, so we're actually about to go. Don't forget, get the CEO book, Diamond and Pearls, Womanpreneurs Who Rock. You can also get my first book, which is Stories of a Lost Soul That Found Her Way. My journal will be out in the next couple of weeks. And my fourth book, which is the series of my first book called The Untold Stories. Wait a minute, I'm almost forgetting what it's called now. Yeah, The Untold Stories in my journal. My journey. Yeah, so my fourth book is coming out, The Untold Stories in My Journey. And believe you me, we're going to have these awesome women spirit on this book. You hear me? Because God said so. So we'll see you later on. Until next time.